Aren't you guys worried about having a baby here?
Yes.
I don't think about it.
I'm worried. I've read that there's a lot of instances of bullying in Korea. It's a really heavy issue, especially recently, even amongst Korean people. I'm a little bit concerned that, especially if you're like a mixed child, I think there could be even more extra complications on top of that. That kind of has me worried. And to be fair, there's bullying everywhere, I know. So I think it could be a possibility, it could be worse here.
Well, I do have some friends actually with children, and I asked them the same question, like, are they being bullied for being a mixed culture, right? They said no, they had good experience, and also they sent their children to international school. That's probably what we're gonna do as well if we get children here.
That's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it depends what kind of education you want for your children. And I think until the age of 5, it doesn't really matter where they grow up because they're so young and they don't know what's going on. I just want a Dutch passport for my children, especially when it's a boy. Rather not have him go to military duty because it's almost 2 years of your life, and this is the benefit of being an international couple. You can choose. He get a chance to change that later when he's grown up.
You know how in Korea you still have that thing, like if you're a guy and you didn't went to the military, how like people think about you?
Yeah, in that case we moved to the Netherlands. Problem
We still
solved.
have the solution to just run away.
But that's so when he's like 18, it's up to him to decide what he wants. Does he want to be Korean in passport or Dutch?
That's true.
So until that, we can decide only Dutch, and after that, he can decide what to do with his life.
For me, I think it's just, I mean, maybe something we can agree is we just want our kids to have the opportunity to be a child. Like if we just put education to the side for a second, just be a kid, right? Like be stupid and run around. I don't know, it's just from what talking to Korean people about how they grew up, it was so heavily into studying.
학원.
And I never heard like childhood stories. Like childhood stories are almost very similar. I'm studying really hard, I go to Hagwon. That's honorable, that's respectable. But to be honest, I don't want that for my kid. I don't. I want them to be kids because being an adult sucks. It's hard. It's depressing, it's heartbreaking. As a kid, that's the only time you get to
Be happy when you can be.
Yeah, but I mean, if my kid decides to be super into school and actually enjoy studying, yeah, go for it.
If it's his choice, then it's fine.
But that's the risk of raising them in Korea. They're probably gonna do that because the only place where you can get to make friends is in a Hagwon. If all your same ages go to, I don't know, Taekwondo, math and English, and then you're the one sitting at home, that's also
You
not
don't have
good.
interaction.
Because you need still that social interaction.
Going to Hagwon, I mean, I guess okay. But then I went to a Korean couple's house and they have a daughter. She's like 6, 7. And they made her a study room. There is nothing in that room. There is just a chair, like a desk, and books and books and books. And what shocked me the most is she was the one to take me by the ends, and she was like, look, this is my study room. I asked for it. I was like, you're 6. Do you really want to bury yourself? And her mother told me that she would just by herself just go there, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to be the number 1 at
I
school.
think she learned it from the environment.
Yeah, so indirectly from her parents or from home school.
There will be some disagreements with my husband if we happen to have a child because we don't educate children the same way. But I'm afraid that, you know, if he only have friends at school who tell him, oh yeah, but my mother told me that you have to do that if you want to go to a good school, if you want to have a nice work, then maybe my child will start thinking the same, even if I tell him the contrary. But that's why it's kind of hard. Even if you're not happy with the system, if you want to be not too depressed, then you kind of need to do like everybody else does, because if you didn't go to university, probably gonna be very hard to get a job. If you don't have a job, can you really be happy? In Korea, you get very looked down on if you didn't go to university.
The status is still very important here, and education is part of that. If you're highly educated, then you can achieve so much more. And they're not easily satisfied with the other things along the way because it's not really part of that higher status that you can achieve.
I'm not even sure because I feel like that market of super high going into the 1% like companies and stuff, this market is already so oversaturated that now even if you are the best of the best, it will still be hard to enter those companies.
It definitely is, but even socially it's quite important where you have studied. Let's say you're from Seoul, Yonsei or Koryo. People somehow immediately do this when they hear, oh, you're from that?
I see that with my
They
wife.
are more willing to help you for whatever you need. And I also see that with Huya, because she studied art at Hongik University, and professors, they immediately are like, boom, okay, Hongik, you know, you can come in. But if you studied art in Incheon or Ulsan or wherever, then you need a bit more networking and then you need to have better grades. I don't know, but it's harder.
I think it would be nice if people could celebrate people's achievements like that, because it is difficult to be able to get into those universities or jobs. We can celebrate it, but also there's other ways in life too, and not necessarily put so much pressure on the rest, the 99% of the freaking population, right?
Yeah.
And for that, America's probably a better place, or France, or the Netherlands, because they teach people how to be open-minded and choose what you want to do, instead of choose what others expect you to become.
True. But because for us, I think even the word success is like really different. In Korea, it's like if you work in top company, then you succeeded in life.
In France, it's like, are you happy?
Exactly. Are you happy with your job?
And then you're successful. Or not even with your job, are you just happy in
Yeah,
general?
but like it doesn't matter if you get a lot of money or not. Of course, it's better to have money. Of course, it helps. But I'd rather earn less money, but be like happy in my job, which I don't think they teach that a lot in Korea.
Even if you were to teach or share these opinions with people in Korea, it doesn't matter what we think, because they're very set on their ways. Having a high status is like, that's the only way to succeed. And I disagree with it so much, but I know it affects my wife by the end of the day. Even though she married a foreigner, right? It's like sometimes she's not happy because of that type of thing. But no matter what I say, no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. That's just the way she sees it.
Like when I talk too much about like friends, I can't say many bad things about friends, but there are also very nice things about friends. And sometimes I can feel my husband gets kind of a bit down when he's like, other countries, they live like that. Why can't Korea kind of follow this example? And yeah, it gets frustrating for him because he agrees with me, but he knows that it's not possible to do in Korea. So yeah, for example, going to university, you can find work even if you don't go to university. And it's not because you go to university that you're going to be better than someone who didn't go. And for him to know that Korean people won't change their mind is kind of frustrating and kind of sad. So sometimes I just cut the conversation. I'm like, you know what, don't get depressed, let's go drink soju and whatever.
There's no right or wrong, I think. We think what we do is right, but in Korea they also, to a certain extent, think what they do is more right than what we do. Again, our relationships make it interesting because we can learn from both right and learn from both wrongs and then find the middle ways. I think our new generations that we're going to reproduce at some point, they're going to be the cool generation, you know, the future of both countries. Fuck yeah, let's go, let's make babies soon.
Later.
I think that's the best point. Be able to have a conversation like that without killing each other, even if we see things differently. So